Guess who's back? Back again. J-Rod's back. Tell your friends. That's right, folks. I'm back, refreshed, and ready to go. As you probably know, I apologize. I was unable to, of course, do the reviews I wanted. I'm unsuccessful to review the recent TNA show, Ring of Honor, and AEW Collision. But however, there's no time to cry about it because here on this channel, well, I did say it's okay to cry, but I'm not going to complain about it. But all we can do is move forward. So for today's episode, as I always say, because it's Monday, if you guys are big fans of the Joshi wrestling scene in general, as always, you're always in the right channel. So today we're going to be doing, of course, four reviews. The first one is from, of course, the latest Sareee-ISM show, Chapter VI, featuring many matches, but the main event features Sareee taking on the final boss on the verge of her retirement until April. We're talking about Meiko Satomura. This is the first time in many years since those two have faced off each other. So that's going to be a fun, interesting one. But however, the remaining three reviews, they're all Stardom. As you know, the Unit League is officially over, but who will walk out as this year's Unit League winners? Will it be EXV or Neo Genesis? And then we have two back-to-back events with the Awards 2025 in Takadanobaba, featuring many matches as well. So there's going to be a lot of preliminary matches that will be involved in the next big show. And then, of course, we cap up our episode with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everybody, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere in the world, pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us and click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions that need to be said, I believe it's time to rock and roll. So, let's begin with our very first review, and this one is Sareee-ISM Chapter VI. Okay. Sareee-ISM Chapter VI. This is their latest show that took place in Shinjuku Face on January 23rd. Now, this is a self-produced show for all those who are new by former NXT Sareee, but before then she was known as Sareee. So I have seen many of her shows. They're pretty good. They have many wrestlers from various promotions, including freelancers, in case anybody asks. I mean, yes, there have been some Stardom talent, including MARIGOLD, Sendai Girls, and all that. But however, as usual, we have Sareee do a opening promo to greet the fans, blah 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 blah. But enough of that. Let's get on to our first match. Representing T Hearts, we have Miku Kane versus the current Superfly champion of MARIGOLD, Victoria Yuzuki. Now, of course, Miku Kane, not much about her. I've seen her that much. All I know is that she originally started training in the T Hearts. I think she was part of Atlas Girls for a time, but now she has stepped up. But Victoria Yuzuki, as you know, we have seen her grown up civilly. She was one of the best rookies we've seen coming from Stardom, and now she's repeating that kind of process in, of course, in MARIGOLD. And as you all know, she is the current Superfly champion. But I knew this match was going to fall in her favor when she applied the German suplex. 1, 2, 3. It was over. Yuzuki picked up the victory. Our next match is a very interesting combination of the of the tag team, one considering a veteran, one, well, basically still in their prime or rookie, however you want to put it. Our first team, we have Misa Kagura teaming up with Yumiko Hotta. They take on Honore Hana all the way from Seedling. She teams up with Jaguar Yokota. Now, nothing too significantly about this one because, of course, you do see two ladies who are, in fact, veterans in the Joshi world, and you probably can guess that this is a good learning curve for these ladies, for Misa and Honori, to actually learn something. Last time, of course, those who know this, Misa and Honori had a recent singles match in the last Seedling show, and of course, Misa walked away. But however, how would that be any different now? That was a singles match. Now in the tag team setting, well, this one ended with, of course, Jaguar Yokota applying a somewhat of a brain buster onto Misa Kagura, allowing herself and, of course, Honori Hana to pick up the win. So just like that, it was over. Our next match, we have our current Sendai Girls Junior World Champion Chi-Chi taking on the Ace and the current AAW AAW champion Takumi Iroha. So you would all know Chi-Chi has been a very prospect wrestler since day one, but you have to ask yourselves, can she pull off a big miracle to take on someone like Takumi Iroha? I mean, it's very rare for someone like Takumi. I mean, she is kind of like Mayu in some capacity, but in a smaller scale. Not that small, but smaller scale for enough, to get noticed. But of course, it was going to be a good match. But unfortunately, Chi-Chi ended up on the wrong side of the infamous running three. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, Takumi wins the match. Our next match, we have a very interesting tag match. We have Yurika Oka teaming up with veteran Kaoru Ito. They take on Bozilla and Miyu Momono. Now, of course, many of you will question, wait a minute, isn't it Yurika Oka and Miyu Momono tag champions and BFFs? Well, I would say that, I mean, of course they may have to face each other, but there are certain aspects of this match. You look at Bozilla, she is a big individual, a monster that is not to be underestimated. And you look at Kaoru Ito, she is a veteran, just like you Jaguar and, of course, Hotta. But you ask yourself how this was going to play out. Well, unfortunately, Yurika Oka ended up on the wrong side of the sit-down powerbomb by Bozilla, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Bozilla and Miyu Momono picked up the win. So, just like that, it was over. Now for a main event. It's been years since these two ladies had their singles match. I believe the first time was back in 2014, I believe. Yeah, I think that was pretty much it. You know what? Let me do this real quick. I know I saw it somewhere. I'm just not 100% sure. know I saw it somewhere. No. Might have deleted it, but yeah. I think it was. Hold on, let me look at Google it real quick. I'm sorry I'm wasting time for all of you. Okay. Their first match was back on April 17, 2011, and this was, of course, Saree's debut match at Diana, in case anybody asked. And of course, they did have other matches. I mean, there was one in Sendai Girls and all that, but this is their first time in that singles match since 2019. But their very first one dates back in 2011. Sareee was still young at the time, if anybody noticed. But you ask yourself, will that be any different? Sareee wants to be the next person, like not to say okay, she eliminates um of course Meiko Satomura, but more like wants to be the next person to live up to what she was known for. And of course, Meiko Satomura, you know she is that good at what she can do. I mean, she's been well recognized all over the world, including WWE and all this other stuff. But as always, you see the final boss makes her final statement with the Scorpion Rising, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Meiko Satomura walked away with the victory. She does a post-match promo saying something to Sareee. I don't know what she said. And then Sareee does a promo, so I don't know what it is that she said, but I'm sure she'll learn the fact that maybe this was not her time yet, but it will one day. But fortunately, this will be the last time those two will meet. So that's how it ends right there. But for now, let's just end things here and move on to our next review. And this one is from Stardom. Okay, you all know as we had the Unit League tournament, we had various teams facing off. We have one particular team already ready for the finals, and that is EXV versus, of course, Neo Genesis. Now, these two teams are basically new, refreshed, and of course, and they do have the same amount of people on both sides, 5 each. But we'll get to that in a bit. Now, let's start our very first match, and this one took place on the 23rd of January. We had an exhibition match against two trainees, one named Yuria. She has a brunette hair, and then is Akari, a blonde hair. But however, I don't think anybody expected so much on this one, except that this match was going to end in a 5-minute time limit draw, and that's how it happened. Then, of course, President Taru Okada comes out and introduces these ladies with their new talent names in the post match. Akari now goes by Akari Tetsu, and then of course Yuria go by him or something like that. But nonetheless, we'll see how these girls will go. But they are scheduled to face opponents. Akari will face Suzuki, and as for Yuria, Maika. So we'll see how that goes from there. Now let's jump into our next match. Our next match, we have an interesting combination of teams. Our first one, we have, of course, God's Eye members, Rani Yagami and Lady C, teaming up with the members of Cosmic Angels, more consistently Sayaka Kurara, Aya Sakura, and Yuna Mizumori. They take on, of course, Maitoi Hamabe and the members of Stars, Momokoko, Saida, Hanan, Koguma, and Azuki. So you probably can guess how that was going to be. But however, of as always, we have seen too many times when it comes to Koguma try to get Yagami to do the bear pose, but Yagami wasn't having it, so it kind of ended in a Jonkin moment between both Yagami and Kurara. Kurara actually did play the whole thing, but unfortunately, this match was going back and forth. I mean, you can tell God's Eye members and Cosmic Angels weren't actually cooperative with each other. Well, mostly coming from God's Eye, but uh, it ended with Sakura being lariated by Ida, and just like that, it was over. And then once again, during the post match, of course, Koguma is not giving up to try to get Yagami to do the bear pose. But we'll see where that leads, because Yagami has been avoiding it. Even Shuri was telling her, no, no, no. But yeah, we'll see where that goes. Now, we got the other members of God's Eye, more specifically Shuri and Saki Kashima taking on Hanan and Mayu Iwatani of Stars. Now, this is what's interesting. Those who know this, um, Mayu and Saki, in fact, know each other too well from the early days, almost 14 years or so. But it leads to that moment where, of course, Mayu hasn't forgotten her betrayal, but even Kashima knows it too well. But she was not, how do I say this, hasn't forgotten. I know she has been known to run from other people, but this time she wasn't running from Mayu. I'm not sure if she has any intentions to surpass her. I mean, if she did pin Mayu, of course, she would get a shot of the IWGP World Women's Champion. I mean, the IWGP Women's Title, but it did not happen. But it was Shuri who picked up the win onto Hanan, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. And then there was a promo with Shuri and Saki Kashima, as you all know, Kashima, who was kicked out of Oedo Tai a couple years ago. She was so happy to be safe with Shuri, and they became very close. And of course, Mayu and Hanan did the usual promo, but I don't know what happened after that. But we'll see. Now, our main event is the finals of the Unit League, consisting of Neo Genesis and EXV. Now, as I said this before, this time the rules are different. It doesn't matter how many times. You have to pick up 3 wins in order to do so. So, here's who represents Neo Genesis. We have Miyu Amasaki, our current future champion, Suzuki, Azumi, Mei Sita, our current high speed champion, and of course our brand new crown white belt champion, Starlight Kid. And as for EXV, we have Rian, Hanako, and Waka Tsukiyama, our current new blood tag champions, Mina Shirakawa, and Maika. Now the first match ended with, of course, Hanako applying Hanako applying a JP coaster on Amasaki, giving her the win for that. Now, however, this one does play out, and I'll explain that at some other point. But it started out with 1 point with EXV. Then the next fall goes to, of course, Neo Genesis, thanks to Mai when she applied a drop kick on Rian, and that tied to 1-1. And then, of course, after that, we had the Collection Mina by Mina Shirakawa onto Azumi, and just like that, they took the lead once again. But, of course, Azumi got her revenge for that loss onto Mina when she applied the Azumi Sushi. And this one led, of course, to some old rivalry between Suzuki and Maika. If you guys remember, Maika had her issues towards Zuzu over the fact that, of course, Maika believes Zuzu does not represent what Stardom is all about. This was during the time of the vacancy of the red belt. And now you can say Zuzu has justified the losses she had for that title match on this one when she applied a German suplex. So after that, it ends with 3 points Neo Genesis and 2 by EXV, making Neo Genesis this year's Unit League winners. But where did they go from here? Well, apparently, they seem like they have targets on certain belts. We know that Zuzu will challenge for the red belt, but however, they want to collect all of them. And, of course, there's the artist belts and the goddesses belts. So they are going to aim for all of them. So we'll see how that rolls up. But for right now, we'll end things here for this one, and then move on with, of course, the 2-day awards show at Takadanobaba Takadanobaba. So we'll see where that goes. But for right now, let's move on to that. Okay, so we continue with more Stardom. As you know, we have the Awards 2025 in Takadanobaba. So this is night one. Nothing too special about it. But however, certain things are more preliminary matches. But let's get started with the first match. Now, as you know, recently Stardom has revealed two new rookies that just made their debut, Akira and Yuria. Now, Akira now goes by Kurogane, issued a match with Suzuki as her debut opponent. Now, of course, it's no secret that Zuzu is no slouch. But of course, Akari mentioned the reason she chose Zuzu, she always looked up to her. But I don't know if she's the type of person who would live up to the same standards as Neo Genesis, because as you all know, all five ladies of Neo Genesis are in the same generation. I don't know about Akari herself, but she did put up a good fight, but it was not enough until Zuzu put her in the tequila shot. And just like that, one, two, three, it's over. Now, I don't know what Zuzu said to her during the post match promo, but many of you may question, could they change the standards of what they're looking for with Neo Genesis allowing her to join in? I mean, it has been done before, because if you guys remember, Stars, they were all inbreds of the Stardom system, except for Momo Kogo, who originally came from another promotion. But of course, Mayu took her in for an exception. And I mean, it would be something similar we could see with Neo Genesis if that's the case. But we'll see what happens down the road for her if Neo Genesis do have any interest in her. But that's up to them. Now, our next match, we have, of course, Kyoka Katsumi teaming up with the ladies from God's Eye, more specifically Rana Yagami and Tomoka Inaba. They take on Waka Tsukiyama when she teams up with star members Momokoko and Koguma. Now, those who know this, there's been recently a bit interesting feud between Rana Yagami and Koguma. Rana Yagami, as you know, refuses to do the Kuma pose with Koguma. So she had this screen that says no bears allowed. So basically, she had that. But however, she decided to entice Morwa Yagami wearing, of course, herself, Momo, and Waka wearing paper cut mask of Shuri. So that whole ordeal goes out in that way. But however, it didn't fall into favor for Koguma's way, because it was Tomoka with the Michinoku driver onto Waka, and just like that, it was over. But however, in the post match comments, I don't know what Yagami said to Koguma, but of course, this feud will continue on eventually. Now, our next match, we have one match that's part of the preliminary matches that we will see down the road. We have the Cosmic Angels, Yuna Mizumori teaming up with the core members and current artist champions Sayuri Anu, Natsupoi, and Tam Nakano. They face against Matoi Hamabe along with Neo Genesis, Azumi, Maysita, and Starlight Kid. Now remember, Starlight Kid issued a challenge for the artist belts, so this is a part of a preliminary match. But however, you probably would think in some capacity that this match will go with Cosmic Angels due to the fact that Matoi Hamabe is currently still the least experienced in this match. And of course, it was Yuna Mizumori with the submission technique that allowed her to pick up the win thanks to Matoi tapping out. Now, during the post match comment, as you know, we will see the upcoming artist title match that will take place on February 2nd in Corkin Hall. So we will see what happens until then. Now, moving forward, our next match, we have a bit of a four-way tag team match. We have Sakurada, or as we know them, Young Kozen, consisting of the younger members of the Cosmic Angels, Sayaka Kurara and Aya Sakura. They take on God's Eyes, Lady C and Hina versus EXV's Rian and Hanako, and of course Wingordi, who are our current Goddesses of Stardom tag champions. So you probably can see how things will get in way. But however, you would think in some ways. There are factors here. Don't forget, Hanako is one half of the New Blood Tag Team Champions. So if anybody pinned Hanako, anybody could people in the least experienced section of Stardom can challenge for the New Blood belts. But don't forget, Wingori is currently the Goddesses Tag Champions, so they could challenge either make the pin on Wingori themselves. But however, as you know, recently we did see Sayaka Kuara applied the violet screwdriver onto Tam before. Well, she did it again by applying it into Rianne, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. But someone did comment it saying that they will love to see them challenge for the New Blood Tag Team belts again. So we will see that happening, hopefully. But I would love to see it. So we'll stay to that. Now, our next match, this one is for the Future of Stardom Championship. Miyu Amasaki defends her belt against Azusa Inaba. Now, remember, those who remember, Azusa Inaba pinned her during the Unit League tournament, and that gave her a pass to cash in the opportunity for a shot of this belt. Now, of course, nothing tricky since Inaba is a member of the Hate faction. No dirty tricks was played, but however, Miyu Masaki makes her successful defense when she applied the Tenzai, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. During the post-match promo, Amasaki said some things to Inaba. I don't know what she said, but however, I figured that this was going to happen, where Hanako appeared, and now she issued herself as the next challenger. Now, this is the second time that Hanako makes the issues the challenge. The first time it was against Rina, but she lost in that match. But the real question is, can anything be different from what she learned when she was in the States and bring it to the table? Could this be effective to Amasaki to win the future belt? Well, that's something we will just have to wait and see. Now, our next match, we have a bit of I think, a 12-woman tag match. Our first team, we have a mixture of members from EXV, God's Eye, and Stars. Representing EXV, Mina Shirakawa and Maika. Representing God's Eye, Saki Kashima and Shuri. And finally, representing Stars, we have Azuki and Mayu Iwatani. They take on the members of Hate, more specifically Rina, Raka, Tekla, Momo Watanabe, Natsuko Tora, and our current red belt champion, Saya Kamitani. Now, when it comes to Hate, we all know they will play dirty tricks to win their matches. That's always been the case. But however, we know certain factors have been in play on this one. Kashima, as you all know, used to be friends with the members of Hate before they turned on her a couple of years ago. So that plays out, and Maika, as you know, has no love lost against Hate after, of course, Kamitani screwed her, losing the red belt. But of course, it ended with Maika winning the match when she confronted her one-time teammate back in DDM, Tekla, when she applied the Michinoku driver. And of course, there was a promo that the winners applied, and of course, don't forget, it was Saki Kashima's 14th anniversary or something like that. But that's how it ended. So I think that's pretty much it. What happened in day one in the award 2025 in Takadanobaba. Let's jump in with day two. Okay, day two of in Takadanobaba for the award 2025. This took place on the 26th of January. Now, as you know, we did see, of course, the rookie match with Akira Kurogane. This time, the other rookie, Yuria Him, faces off against Maika, who she admired. Now, of course, many of you would think that Yuria will be a little different from what we saw with Akira. I mean, she kind of did, but unfortunately, with this match, many of you would probably guess this match was going to fall with Maika winning the match when she put her in a sleeper hold, and just like that, it was over. Now, there was no post-match promo by Maika. I mean, it would have been easy to put out, giving her some props, but nothing like that happened. Our next match is a very interesting one. We haven't seen Stardom doesn't do this a lot, but we have seen them do this many times. We have a UWF rules match. We have Kyoka Kotatsu taking on Aya Sakura. Now, of course, many of you know this that both um, Sakura and Kotatsu, they're both experts in karate. Those who know this, Sakura has been dubbed as the karate girl, in her social media. So that plays out pretty well. And of course, Kotatsu does have that background. So, but I feel deep down by watching this match, I feel that Kotatsu does have a bit more experience than her. But we cannot deny that Sakura does have some great striking capabilities. But unfortunately, uh, Sakura, of course, lost this match when Kotatsu applied a leg lock, and just like that, Sakura had no choice but to tap. And in the post-match promo, I don't know what Kotatsu said to Sakura, but of course, Sakura was not satisfied with losing this match. But I know she'll get back to it at some point. I'm sure she probably would ask for another rematch for a UWF rules match. So that is the strong possibility down the road. Our next match, we have EXV members Rian, Hanako, Waka Tsukiyama, and Mina Shirakawa. They take on Matoi Hamabe. She teams up with God's Eye members Lady C, Hina, and Saki Kashima. So, not a whole lot on this particular match, you probably would think. But of course, when it comes to Lady C and Hina, you would think that they would try to pin, of course, Waka or Hanako, our current New Blood Tag Champions. That would have been the case too, but however, that was not actually the case. It was Kashima with that underhook knee strike onto Rian, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, God's Eye picked up the win. Now, our next match, well, this one is a very interesting and fun one. As you know, we have God's Eye consisting of Rana Yagami and Shuri. They take on, of course, former tag champions and Goddesses Tag League winners, Koguma and Azuki, better known as FWC. Now, of course, as you know, we've been seeing the storyline between Koguma and Yagami, of course, where Koguma was attempting to play out the Kuma pose with Yagami. So that been going on for a while. Of course, people don't like it when Koguma was intending to have a bit of her little fun and excitement as to Kuma pose. They've been going back and forth, but however, Yagami's frustration got the better of her when she ended up in the Kuma role once again by Koguma. However, during the post-match comment, Yagami made a proposal to her. She said this: she wants to have a one-on-one match under the condition that if Yagami loses, she'll do the Kuma pose in public. Now, you would think that, is she really for real about this? I'm sure Shuri thinks highly of her. I know she feels that she's a highly skilled person, but when it comes to Koguma, she's a bit of a tricky individual. Don't forget, she likes to play games. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but it seems it's going to happen one way or the other. Now, our next match, we have the Cosmic Angels, more specifically, Sayaka Kurara, Yuna Mizumori, Natsupoi, and Tam Nakano taking on star members Momokogo, Saya Ida, Hanan, and Mayu Iwatani. Now, nothing too special about this, but however, as you probably know, Tam and Natsupoi are the current artist champions, so if anybody pins those two, then they could get a potential opportunity of the artist belt. But however, do not forget, Mayu is the current IWGP Women's Champion. If anybody pins her, well, you know anybody could get a shot of this belt. Or if they pin Ida or Hanan, who are the current Goddesses Tag Champions, well, you know the drill. But nothing too special about this match. But it was Hanan who picked up the win on to Mizumori with the Hanan special. 1, 2, 3. It was over. Now, our next match, it's a number one contendership for the Wonder of Stardom Championship. Now, for those who know this, Rina has already made a play to have a shot of this belt, but Sayu Anu also made a play too. But Rina felt that someone like Sayu Anu, or as she calls her, a shitty old hag, has no business being in this. So she's trying to tell her, hey, bitch, This is my shot. You have no business in it. But Satomura doesn't care what a snotty brat like Rina would think. Now, of course, Rina, being a member of Hate, you know that Hate will attempting to play dirty tricks, and the whip was being played out, and then Rina picked up the win when she applied a jackknife. And of course, Rina, being the spoiled little brat, was mocking Sayuna because she beat her. But the real question is, does Rina have what it takes to beat Starlight Kid? Well, Starlight Kid, as you know, hasn't forgotten the betrayal that she had suffered in the hands of Rina and everybody else who are in Hate, except for Inaba and anybody else who joined them. But we'll see where that goes from there. So I'm sure we'll see a good match on that. Now, our main event, we have Neo Genesis Mayu Imasaki, Azumi, Suzuki, Meisira, and Starlight Kid taking on the members of Hate, more specifically Raka, Tekla, Momo Watanabe, Natsuko Tora, and Saya Ida. Now, of course, we were going to see dirty tactics with Hate. As always, we've seen that with them countless times. But of course, we haven't forgotten how Starlight Kid had suffered in the hands of Hate in the past when before they became Hate. But however, it was Zuzu who picked up the win when she applied, of course, the tequila shot on Raka, picking up the win. But however, don't forget, Zuzu will have a shot for the red belt. But Kamitani, as you know, feels that she is more deadlier than her, more dangerous. Well, Zuzu doesn't care because we all know Zuzu, she is beyond crazy than anybody else. That's why she has that tag name with Meisero known as Crazy Star. But anything could happen before then. So yeah. So I think that's pretty much it what we have for all the reviews. I believe everybody hope had a great time. But let's move into our last and final thing we're going to do before we end this episode. Some news updates. Well, welcome to our news update. So, as always, we will begin with upcoming events with the promotions. So, as you know, we have a big stuff from GCW, as always. So, let's begin with that. So, by the time this event has already been happening or so, we have the I Feel So event that took place on the 28th of January in San Diego. Fuego del Sol will take on the franchise Titus Alexander. Man, I wish I was there. I would love to meet Fuego, So that's pretty cool to see. Now we have the 31st of January in Indianapolis, Up All Night. Mance Warner will be in action to take on Jimmy Brodsky. However, we do have, of course, Effie will be making an address. I don't know exactly what's going on, but we'll see what happens. Then on the 1st of March, we have the LA show, The Coldest Winter 3. Mance Warner will be in action to take on Rich Swann. Then, of course, we do have the back-to-back shows in Atlantic City. The first one is Ashes to Ashes on the 15th of March. John Wayne Murdoch will be in action to take on Mr. Danger. And then we have the GCW Tag Team titles on the line. Our current and brand new tag champions, Garbage Daddies, will defend their belts against Legion of Rot. And then, of course, the other show in Atlantic City on the 16th of March. So much fun. We have Matt Tremont taking on Beastman. So that's pretty much everything going on with GCW. Now for the other ones. Now an interesting announcement came from MARIGOLD for the Shinjuku Face that will take place on the 7th of February. Chanyota will be teaming up once again with Mai Sakurai to take on the former white belt champion Miku Ano and of course Yado Yamada. Now I want to make a note here. Now this is the first time since last year and on the 17th of February where Chanyota and Mai Sakurai team up again. Now, if you guys remember when Chanyota first made appearances in Stardom's New Blood shows, Chanyota was teaming with Mai Sakurai. They had a singles match and then team up before. They even challenged for the New Blood tag team belts on that particular day on the 17th of February against Wingori. However, this is going to be interesting to see Chanyota making an appearance in MARIGOLD. So, can't wait to see how that goes. Now, as you know, we got the Jersey J Cup happening on the 15th through the 16th of February in Jersey City. Two names have been announced: Joey Janela and Atticus Cogar. So those. Joey Janela enters as number 15, and Atticus Cogar on number, of course, 16. So more names will be announced soon. So I think that's much for that part. Now let's keep moving forward. Have you guys heard of this promotion based out of Taiwan called Puzzle? Well, they announced for the 22nd of February at their dojo, there's going to be a match with their guy named Axe Wang. He'll be, apparently, as you know, Puzzle is now being invaded by Dragon Gate, more specifically, the most dark person ever, Shun Skywalker. And now, Barb Sasaki has announced for his 25th anniversary show called Crazy Show that'll take place on the 10th. Well, apparently, they just announced the first competitor. Many of you guys know I mentioned her, and she has a taste of death matches. We're talking about Suzuki. That's right, folks. She will be participating. Now, it's been a while since she has ever participated in these type of matches, so it's really fun to hear. Now, Canadian promotion Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling has announced they're back for another show, and it's going to happen a 2-day show in Ontario, Canada. It's going to take place between the 14th and 15th of March, and the name of the show is called Mayhem. Now, West Coast Pro has announced for the West Coast Best Coast on the 22nd of March, the current West Coast Pro Tag Team Champions, Crush Boys, Titus Alexander and Starboy Charlie will be in action. As you know, Kenta Kobashi has his annual one show a year, Fortune Dream 10, that will happen on the 16th of February. However, the biggest announcement, as you all know, April is also the month where we will see for the last time the final boss, Meiko Satomura, and she announced she will be participating on this event. So hopefully I get to see it, and hopefully you guys can enjoy. I mean, I did 2 reviews of this one before, but right now we'll keep moving forward. Now, for our last update on the upcoming events, many of you know this, another promotion has been announced to participate at the Las Vegas show during WrestleMania week, and that promotion is none other than Marvelous. That's right, Yoshi Promotion Marvelous will be making their actual U.S. debut. I'm so excited. I mean, I wish I would have gone to that because I want to see it. But if anybody's planning to go to these shows, if you're planning to go see Marvelous, tickets will be on sale by the end of this month on January 31st. So mark that in your calendars, boys and girls, if you're big fans of Marvelous. Now for our developments that we're going to be talking about. First things first, we want to give congratulations to Ariana Grace. Many of you know this. She is Canadian born. Apparently, she applied for her American citizenship, and now she's officially an American citizen. So, congratulations, girl. Now, TNA has announced that Frankie Kazarian has re-signed with the promotion. Now, I don't know what plans they have with them. There is speculation by some that maybe he'll win the TNA World title at some point, but we don't know yet. Now, speaking of TNA, as you know, Jordynne Grace is no longer part of the TNA roster, but it's now been reported that she had signed a multi-year deal with WWE. So the story is there is the possibility we can see her at the Royal Rumble. So we'll stay tuned to that. Former WWE superstar Veer, now apparently, as you know, since the release, he has become a monk from India. So interesting to hear now that he's no longer with WWE. Now, interesting developments. As you know, people are talking about the partnership between TNA and WWE. However, there is a concern over that partnership. Now, I know some people are saying, it's good for business, J-Rod. Whoever's saying there's a concern, he's an Oscar Mayer wiener. Well, I would agree with you, but however, you cannot ignore about what this person said. Now, this was reported. Of course, it was reported to believe those close to the situation that WWE will end up owning TNA while blocking AEW from international TV deals. So this is what it was written. And this was coming from Wrestling Observer, in case anybody asks. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on, part of the deal, but key stuff is want want get TNA on those television outlets that WWE is leaving. I'm sure India has been being a big one. So AEW doesn't get those television outlets, they will be leaving. Because of those because all of those shows are in Netflix internationally, they can't put anything on those stations. So want to make sure it's not AEW on those stations. So that's one of the main reasons they're doing this TNA partnership. I know people are close to the situation think it will end up with WWE owning TNA. Others think it's going to be a disaster because it's always is at the end. Every company WWE works with always ends up worse off. I mean, yes, we have seen that before. I mean, we cannot deny that. So we'll see what happens. Now, moving on. Many of you may have heard that this year will be the last time Sting will be in his wrestling gear. So we know he's no longer wrestling, but this is what he said. I enjoyed meeting fans at events around the world. As much as I love to interact with you in the traditional Stinger war paint, I've decided that 2025 will be my last year appearing in full gear. I guess it's 2025 or never. Wow, tough to speak about that out. I mean, yeah, I get it. Practically, I mean, I would love to meet Sting in his war paint. I mean, so yeah, we'll see. Now, Seri recently had spoken about doing an American show in the future, and this is what she said. I'm really happy and would love to hold an event in America in the future. I want to show Sareee, not WWE Sareee. Yeah, I know what she meant by that. Many people have often said that WWE dropped the ball on her, and I get it. And and I say maybe they're right. But yeah. Now, as you probably heard about the TNA and WWE thing, apparently this was reported also by Wrestling Observer. TNA attempted to sell to Tony Khan back in 2018. This is around the time when the mystery was becoming about AW's existence. They also talked about a year with Scott D'Amore selling, but turned D'Amore after. So basically, D'Amore was attempting to sell the company to Tony Khan, but I don't know why he didn't do it. But maybe because people would definitely want changes in their own perspective way. I don't know. But yeah, that's what we did know about that. Now, many of you know this about the award ceremony of 2020, of the award ceremony that took place about 2024. But here's what happened. The MVP award goes to Meiko. Special award goes between Saya Kamitani and Mina Shirakawa. Best bout, Mayu Iwatani and Momo Watanabe in January 17th at Adion Arena 1 back in 2024. Best Tag Team, Wing Gori. Best Unit, Cosmic Angels. Shining Award, Special Starlight Kid. Special Achievement Award, Sayuri Anu. Fighting Spirit Award, Momo Watanabe. And Skilled Award, Mei Sita. Now, it was already foretold that nobody from the faction hate were at the ceremony, so it makes sense because, as you probably know, they have some problems towards, of course, with the politics and people running the show in Stardom. So that it sets it up. Now, Utami Hayashishita has spoken highly of Seri Yamada. She sees a lot of bright future in her, and she said that she wants her to win Rookie of the Year for the Pro Wrestling Grand Prix. So this is what she said. I really want Seri to aim for the Rookie of the Year award, and I think she is definitely a candidate for the award. As the ace of MARIGOLD, I want to develop her into the kind of girl. I think winning will be great experience and give her confidence, but I think it's only once she feels difference and the ability between her and to the top athletes, she will be able to grow even further. Yeah, so that's coming from the ace of MARIGOLD, and the current world champion Utami. Yeah, I mean, we can say that maybe Seri Yamaoka does deserve to be the rookie of the year for that particular prize. I mean, she did won the tag belts with Nana Takahashi recently. I mean, I could definitely see that. Now, finally, as you all know, Cosmic Angels won the best unit for Stardom's 2024 awards. And there is one particular person who you probably ask yourselves, what does Unagi thinks of that? Well, this is what she said. Nothing really, but congratulations. I still want the best unit to be chosen. So basically, there's that. I mean, I'm not sure if Unagi has any intentions to form a unit, but I mean, she's happy that Cosmic Angels won this award. I mean, when Unagi was there, they never won, but they did won the award for best unit by Shupro from another many times. And I did hear that, of course, that there's a possibility they could win that award again, 4 times in a row. But we'll see how that rolls up from there. But for now, I think we are officially done with our news updates. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Before I proceed, I want to say I have not noticed that my news updates was a bit longer. The reason is this: I saved up these news updates things that I was gonna do for another time, but I saved some of these starting since I left on my trip. But luckily, they came in handy. If anybody may or may not have heard of these news updates, um, well, I'm actually sorry for waiting this long, or happy that I was able to do it. However, I feel. But yes, but as for our next episode, we will have NXT. We're gonna see what happens. Bailey and Julia will be teaming up to take on Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. A lot of things will happen. I haven't decided yet what other events I want to review. There is the recent Choco Pro events, and a very interesting one I have my eye on. I'll explain to you guys at some other point. But for now, that's all. NXT is the priority. If anything else, I'll let you guys know. But for now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.